The reason that I think anyone should see a chocolatier to get their chocolates is because of three really big reasons. The first is the ingredients, the quality of the ingredients that are inside. I'm using real milk, I'm using real cream, I'm using real mint. I'm using the kind of ingredients that I couldn't find in a grocery store chocolate because, frankly, they're so concerned about shelf life, they couldn't possibly use those ingredients. You can't imagine putting cream, a truffle on a shelf, for example, in a grocery store because in a week or two it would be bad. So that's the first thing. The second really big thing about you seeing a chocolatier is the lack of preservatives. You don't have to have preservatives in your chocolate, and I try to avoid them if possible. And the third is, I think, it's just the care, the time, the effort that I put into each individual confection. You can probably taste it and see it and feel it in the quality, and I like putting that out. It started with my son, who was then 10 years old. He wanted to have a little business on the side. He wanted to sell lemonade. And I said, no, you can't do that. You have to do something fancier, bigger than that. What if we made chocolates together? And I didn't know anything about making chocolates at the time, nothing at all. But he was interested in that, so the two of us set upon the journey of learning how to make chocolate together. And I was helping him, and he was doing things like making chocolate-dipped strawberries, things like that. And the more he was making those sorts of things, the more I was off to the side experimenting with fancier things. I was learning to make truffles and to fill molds, and I was experimenting with better chocolate. So we were working side by side, and over that time, I realized just exactly how complex and wonderful chocolate can be when it's done really, really well. My son ran that business for about 5 years, and then he became a teenager and moved on, but I kept my interest in the chocolate, and I kept developing it further and further until it is what it has become now. I source my ingredients all over. I use the fresh ingredients when I can use fresh ingredients, and I use the quality dried ingredients from manufacturers that don't use sugar. I'm trying to find more raw ingredients so that I'm in more control of how the final product looks. I source some of my chocolate from Belgium and from France. I try to go for good flavor contrast whenever I can find it. I like the smaller aspect of the chocolate shop. I don't really want to get into huge production, but I really would like to introduce a lot of people one-on-one to something really fantastic. I'd like them to really feel and experience something wonderful in their chocolates and their confections. I'd also like to help people who have issues with sugar. And I know that sounds kind of crazy coming from a chocolatier, because you would think that I work with a lot of sugar. But I've noticed that many people are pre-diabetic, they're watching their sugar intake, and they really don't have a lot of options. They want to eat chocolate like everyone else. They want to eat a candy bar like everyone else, and they really can't, or they have to have just one little bite. And I think that I can do a lot for them, because it's possible as a chocolatier, because you're part scientist, to actually start from raw chocolate. It's just chocolate. And from there I can build it up, and I can add the sweeteners and nuts and build it into a bar or into a confection that people can eat that are watching their sugar. And I don't think there are a lot of options for diabetics or pre-diabetics when it comes to chocolates, and I would really like to serve that community too. There are a lot of really great chocolatiers all around the country, and so I'll see something that they've posted, I'll see something that they're showing in their shop, and I'm thinking to myself, I can do that. Sometimes, believe it or not, I get inspired right at the grocery store. I'll go and I'll see a candy bar, and I know that candy bars taste good, but I think to myself, well, how could I improve on that? How could I make that a richer or more wholesome product? How could I remove the preservatives from it, the artificial colors? How could I get the sugar quantity down? I really wanted to do something where people could get quality confections. I think that there just aren't a lot of options out there for being able to get confections that are of high quality, again, low preservatives or no preservatives, something where you can feel really good about what you're eating. I wanted to make chocolates for people that care deeply about what they're eating. These days, people are watching their weight, they're more health conscious, they still want to eat something, but if they do, they want it to really count. It's the same number of calories. It's the same exact number of calories. So I think that if you're going to eat it, you may as well love it.